Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today I'm really happy to announce my brand new partnership with Say Intentions AI. For those of you who haven't heard that name yet, Say Intentions is mostly an AI-powered ATC add-on, but they don't just do ATC, they also do stuff like cabin crew, ground crew to a certain extent, and even more than just that. So for the purpose of this video, we are just going to call it an ATC add-on because that's the most part of what it does. Now, you might have seen that a few days ago I've already featured one flight with Say Intentions, who are the new sponsor of this channel as well. And I'm sure you've seen that I really liked the add-on and that I just saw the huge potential in it. Now, basically, when they approached me about the sponsorship for the channel, I was like, well, give me a version to try, and I don't want to advertise anything that I can't stand behind. So they gave me a copy to try, and I was really impressed. I've been using and testing flight sim add-ons for the past 15 years already, and back then I always wanted to try ATC because ATC is just one major part of any real-world flight that we are simply completely missing in flight simulation unless we're flying online. And some of you have seen my VATSIM records. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of the network and that I've been using it for thousands of hours. But of course, VATSIM ATC is usually there in the primetime evening hours, and then it focuses on a certain airport. And ever since MSFS came along, the traffic numbers have increased to a level where airports are often overloaded, even big airports like Heathrow or Frankfurt, which carry thousands of flights a day. Now, this is of course one of the little downsides of VATSIM there. You really gotta go where the ATC is, and you just have to live with the traffic environment that you're put into. And for this reason, I was always looking for an air traffic control add-on that I could use to enhance my flying experience outside of these hours. This became especially important when I started my YouTube channel, since nowadays I'm often recording videos in the morning or in the noon where you will usually not find any VATSIM ATC online. And even if you do, they mostly cover the same airports all over, so after maybe a year or so, everyone watching my videos would know every one of those airports completely by heart. Now, this is where Say Intentions really comes in. So with Say Intentions, you get full ATC all over the place on pretty much every single airport in the world, both IFR and VFR, and since they are using AI to power their add-on, it really comprehends what you're saying. It gives pretty good instructions, but of course, as with any technology, it's not completely there just yet. But since I saw the huge potential in the add-on when I started using it for my first 10 flights that I, of course, did not record or anything, I approached them and said, guys, this has a huge potential, but I don't just want to become a video partner creating content and advertising you. I want to join the project basically on a project advisor level. Similar in a way that I've done, for example, with PMDG on their 737, and then later beta tested their 777. So just like that, I want to help make Say Intentions the best ATC add-on that it can possibly become, and I want to provide my input. So we sat together, we had a couple of very nice chats, and it turned out that they are very, very open for feedback, and they already started implementing some of the feedback that I gave. And indeed, I do seem to recognize that the add-on just becomes better day by day by day. And this, I think, is a very good foundation to start working on it, teaming up with them to turn Say Intentions into the best add-on that it can possibly become, and the most realistic ATC option that it can become. Now, is it there just yet? No, of course not. AI technology is still evolving, and of course they are still actively working on what's probably the most complex thing you can attempt to simulate in aviation, which is the human brains of air traffic controllers who have their standard procedures, but who need to be able to adapt and who are working in a totally complex environment. So from here on, I will be working together with them in order to improve the project, and they will be sponsoring my channel in return. So if you guys are interested in Say Intentions AI, be sure to use the affiliate link that you can find in the video description and in the pinned comment below, as those will earn me a small commission from your subscription fee to Say Intentions. However, if you just want to get introduced to the add-on, there is a 24-hour free trial available that you can use in order to give the add-on a try and make up your own opinion. But do use the affiliate link below, as that is going to help me run this channel as well. Now let's go ahead and have a quick look into Say Intentions and what the add-on actually looks like. So this is the main interface here of Say Intentions AI, currently version 3.0.1.4, but new versions are coming out pretty much all the time, as they are really doing regular daily updates in the background on the AI side of things, and occasional client updates like the one you can see over here as well. So let's go ahead and have a quick look into what it offers. First of all, there are different modes available. So you can have some information shown over here where it tells you the frequencies, where it will list you all the radio calls that have been done in a flight. And then you have options such as checklists, which in the future are going to be implemented with a virtual AI-powered first officer as well, who's going to be able to do checklists with you, and so on and so on and so on. So you can see there's really a lot of things going on in the background. I mean, just look at that update list over here. You can see how many different updates they are doing. That's just really, really great, isn't it? Now, let's focus on the ATC part of things here, because that's really the most important in my opinion. Say Intentions uses your SimBrief flight plan. Remember, SimBrief is totally free. You don't have to pay Navigraph anything to be able to use SimBrief. It uses your SimBrief flight plan in order to import your general idea of what you want to do. Just hit that new flight button over here whenever you want to start a new flight, and Say Intentions will be fully there. After that, you can basically just minimize the client and everything will run in the background. And everything running in the background really means you get into your aircraft, you do exactly what you do in the real world. So you grab your charts, you have your frequencies on there, you dial in the delivery frequency, you call for clearance. Alternatively, if your add-on supports the Hoppy ACAS system and supports the Say Intentions AI server, which aircraft like the Phoenix Airbuses or the Inibuild Airbuses, and I heard soon a lot more as well, will do, then you can also get your clearance via data link. Now, once that is done, you simply call in ready for pushback, and you will get your pushback clearance, your taxi clearance. You basically don't need to interact with the program at all, and that's one of the things that I really liked. If you want a quick setup, you just go into the settings, you assign your push to talk button, off you go. That's all you need. All the rest runs automatically, and you don't have much interaction except for starting the program, clicking new flight, then it imports your SimBrief flight plan, and that's it. All the rest happens in the background, no user interaction required. Now, one great feature that it comes with is flight attendant announcements, which it can do if enabled in the settings. And since it knows your SimBrief flight plan, and since it knows the airline, departure, destination, flight time from SimBrief and more, it includes all of those in the announcements, making the most realistic and the most complete announcements that I've seen in flight simulations so far. So really great immersion factor there from Say Intentions with their cabin crew announcements as well. Talking about cabin crew, you can talk to your purser as well, and there is even a feature available that you can optionally use. By default it's off, you can turn it on if you like to, called Cabin Crisis, and that will simulate events going on in the cabin. Think unruly passengers or ill passengers, all that kind of stuff that makes your flight a little bit more interesting. One of the great things is the speech recognition is so advanced thanks to their AI technology that you can literally just speak normally as you would do right now, or as I would do while I'm recording this video, and they are going to understand you and they will be able to interact with you. That's just really cool. Think of it a little bit like ChatGPT with a voice input. Works really great. Now, let's go ahead and have a look into some of the options that are available in the add-on. I will skip over the general page here since it shows some of my personal details. So let's go ahead and just have a look over here. On identity, you basically can tell the add-on how it's supposed to call you. And then of course you've got the SimBrief call sign override down here. So that way you can always just be called by the correct SimBrief call sign. Pretty much like I've done over here. Like you could see on the top right there where I currently had the Lufthansa City call sign from Munich to Hanover. Now, from there on, you got things like your headset setup, volume controls, which can be integrated with your aircraft add-on as well, if the add-on supports it. Then you got controls, where you can assign things like your push-to-talk key for the radios, or the push-to-talk for the intercom, where you can talk to your cabin crew. Now, the multiplayer integration is something that I really like. On VATSIM, when you fly to places and there is nobody there, it's just going to be completely quiet. On Say Intentions, things are different. So you can see I've turned the share my audio button off over here, but if I had that on, and if I enabled the pre-recorded multiplayer proximity version, then it would record what I'm saying, send that to the server, and when someone else is flying within the proximity or used to fly within that proximity in the past, then you would be able to hear that pilot. So that way you kind of create something VATSIM-like with AI ATC, but real-world pilots or real-world flight simmers. And even though you don't fly at the same time, those who flew in the past would automatically be injected over here. So that's a very, very nice thing, isn't it? That way you can build up an amount of traffic at an airport, even though that may currently not be there because you might be flying at 6 a.m. Likewise, you have nice things here such as live multiplayer global or proximity, especially the proximity one. Kind of turns it into a kind of VATSIM, but just with AI ATC staffing all the stations. And then of course you can just do pre-recorded AI generated ATC chatter, which is pretty nice as well if you don't want to go into all of that multiplayer stuff. For example, you can see I've turned it off up here on the top, just because I wanted to be able to experiment with the program, see what it can do some non-standard stuff there and just see how it works. So that's a pretty cool thing. Now the intercom page is quite cool as well. You've got two channels over here. I used the first one to assign my flight attendant. Of course I'm using English as a language, but as you can see there are really lots of different languages available that the add-on supports, and you can change the entire add-on into any one of these languages. If you want to do ATC in Italian, go for it. So that's really cool. Now, down here, you can see I've selected my cabin crew, and there would be more available. Like, you could have tour guides who could tell you about the area you're currently flying through. Think of it a little bit like someone reading Wikipedia to you, telling you what you're flying around. That's a really cool thing. The mentor can answer your questions that you have about the aircraft you're flying. For example, you could ask, hey, how should I interpret this FMS indicator? How should I interpret this light? What should I do next? And chances are the AI mentor is going to be able to give you an answer. Then, of course, you have cabin crew, which is what I've assigned over here. And as you can see, there are really loads of cabin crews available. Many of them professional, but also a couple of funny ones, such as down here, Georgina the Insta girl. Oh, believe me, that might be more realistic than you think. Now, I selected Mara from Germany, and oh yeah, that's a German flight attendant. You can immediately tell. You can absolutely immediately tell. Now, you have a second channel where I could assign any of the others, for example, a co-pilot who would be able to read checklists very soon. That's a feature currently in work in progress, so some really cool stuff there. Well, last but not least, you can change some things on the MISC tab over here. And first of all, you've got the weather source, which I've set to live weather. But be aware that this is live weather. And even though our simulator is using kind of live weather, it doesn't always match 100%. For the wind check during the takeoff clearance, it actually reads the wind from the sim. But since the sim API doesn't enable you to look ahead for the landing clearance, it has to use the current METAR. And I did find some occasions where it gave me a wind check which actually matched the real world METAR, but the sim hadn't updated to that yet and was showing me something a little bit different. Now, if you are on a simulator such as X-Plane, or if you're using an older FS version for which Active Sky is available, then you can use Active Sky Weather. Active Sky is a weather add-on for those of you who don't know. So that way you would always have the exact same thing. And then you've got SimBrief as well. So let's say, for example, you're planning a flight, then you fly it, 8 hours later because you had some real world stuff intervening, but you just set your time back in FS24 and it gives you the real world weather of back then you would just get your SimBrief weather here and that way kind of match the weather. Now the ATC experience here is a great setting as well. So you do have student pilot, standard and pro mode. Basically, standard and pro mode has just one difference. In pro mode, they take away some options for you. That's why I'm using standard over here. That way I get the ATC message log and stuff like that. I might be able to look something up. Makes my life a little bit easier. While if you go to pro mode, you don't get any message log. They don't tell you which frequencies are currently active. So you really got to go to the charts and look it up. Has some charm. But as long as I don't look at the Say Intentions window, standard mode gives me all that information as well. Last down here is the cabin crisis button, which is one that I do really like as well, and that you can be pretty sure you will see featured on the channel pretty soon. And in here you just select an odd at which a cabin crisis is going to happen. Remember what I told you earlier, cabin crisis could be things like a sick passenger or maybe an unruly passenger. The only thing you're not allowed to simulate are hijackings. You explicitly have to agree not to do that in the terms and conditions when you subscribe to Say Intentions. So no illegal stuff, but some very, very interesting stuff here, making your flight a lot more interesting. Well, then there's the preview button, which is really just going to be early stuff that is going to be released at a later point in time. So basically beta testing, things like the traffic here hopefully coming up very soon, things like your co-pilot checklists and so on. Well, and that's mostly the Say Intentions add-on. Now, a lot of very nice stuff in there that you can be sure we are going to check out over the course of the next couple of weeks on this channel. For the time being, if you find this one interesting, do use the link in the video description below, as it not just profits you, bringing you to an ATC add-on that I'm pretty sure you will probably enjoy, but it would also benefit my channel since Say Intentions have become the new sponsor of this channel. Well, my friends, I find this really exciting news here, since we never really had a good ATC add-on, but now we have one that absolutely showed the potential to become one. So I'm really looking forward to work together with Say Intentions, creating a better add-on, bringing them my feedback and bringing them my suggestions in order to make this the best ATC add-on available. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you found this one interesting as well. Be sure to leave your feedback and your experience with Say Intentions in the comments underneath the video. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really want to support me, why not consider getting Say Intentions through the affiliate link in the video description below. Or if you just want to support me without any obligations, then I would always appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.